From the last 3-4 days, I am receiving calls and SMSs from teachers about security issues in Zoom application. A lot of teachers are using Zoom application for online classes. So I go through CERT-In. So you know CERT, it's Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. They issued an advisory about using Zoom application. I go through it, and what I found that the vulnerability, security vulnerability, is not about the Zoom application. It is actually how you use Zoom application. So if you know how to use Zoom application securely, then you will be secure while taking online classes. So in this video, I am going to go through the advisory and all the settings that they have mentioned. I'll also show you how you can set those settings on your Zoom application so that you teach online and remain secure. So why wait? Let's start. So let's first go to CERT-In website, which is cert-in.org.in. It is Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. It keeps an eye on all the applications and then issue advisory based on the application security vulnerability. So you can see they have issued an advisory about Zoom video conferencing application on 30th of March. So let's open it. Here on this page, you will see that this is the advisory. And on this page, this is very important line. The line says, insecure uses of the platform may allow cyber criminals to access sensitive information such as meeting details and conversations. So it's not about stealing the Windows password. It's about stealing the meeting details and conversation. Okay, so the insecure use is limited to this only, not hacking your Windows PC. So they have said that if you want a secure meeting, then you need to follow these measures, these advices to increase the security of Zoom meeting. So first advice is to keep your Zoom software patched and up to date. You need to make sure that your Zoom application is up to date. So when you are on your Zoom application, you need to see which version you are using. For that, click on your image and then go to help and click on about Zoom. You will see that which version you are using. Then you have to check which is the latest version of Zoom. For that, you need to go to zoom.us. We'll go to zoom.us and here go to resource, click on download Zoom client and you will see the latest version of the client is 4.6.9. So this is 4.6.7 and the latest is 4.6.9. So I need to make sure that I am updated all the time. For that, you can download and install from here, but what I prefer, I prefer 99.com, and from there I will click on Zoom. I will then get your 99. So it will start downloading an exe file. You all know about it now if you are watching my videos. Then I'll click on it and 99 will now take care of updating my Zoom application. Close the client. See, it's downloading Zoom. If Zoom was updated on my system, that it would simply say that it's up to date and it will not have downloaded the version, but it's not updated. This is why it's downloading a new version and it's now installing. So as you can see, it has finished installation. Now I'll close it. Now I will start Zoom again. Let's check its version now, whether it's updated or not. For that, again, I will go to help and click on about Zoom and you will see it's now updated 4.6.9 and this is what the latest version is. This is why I always recommend using 99 because it's hassle-free installation and updation of your softwares. So now the first guideline of this advisory is complete. Our software is up to date. The second is always set strong, difficult to guess and unique passwords. So you need to make sure that for each meeting, your passwords are strong. They should not be simple password. For that, you can use any strong password generator. So let's search strong password generator. Go to any of these websites and click on generate password. See, this is very difficult, correct? Make sure you are selecting a password like this. If you want to change any of these settings, you can change it, but I like this. So generate very difficult password and make sure that you are pasting it somewhere. You can save it in some password managers, applications or software. Once we have a strong password, then what we have to do? We have to make sure that it require a password when scheduling a new meeting. So your all new meetings should have a password. No meeting should be started without a password. So let's go to the settings. In order to change these settings, you have to log in to your zoom.us account. So for that, we will go to zoom.us and we will click on sign in. Enter your credentials. Now we have to make sure that all these settings are correct. So for that, we have to go to settings, and then these settings are available here. Go down. So you will be able to see the setting. So require a password when scheduling new meeting is on. If you do not have a pro account, it's always on. Then require a password for instant messaging is also on. Require a password for personal meeting ID PMI is on, and it is all, you can't change the setting because it is logged by admin. This means you need a pro account in order to change this, but this is recommended. So require a password for personal meeting ID. Here they have said you can set it only for meetings with join before host enabled, but we will set it for all. There is no problem with that. So we will set it this, then you change the password to something else, not the easy password. So we have already copied this password. We will use this one. So now this password is very strong. See what happened here, when I paste the password, it's accepting only 10 letters. So what I'll do, I will copy from here and paste it here. Okay. So this way, now I know what password to use for all our meetings. Now I will save this password. So as it says, it's only support letter, number and special characters. So let's now come here and click on show options. It supports maximum 10 length. So we will select 10 length. It does not support punctuation. It supports only letter, number and special character. So we will say OK. These are special characters. And now save these options. And let's now click on generate password. So we get this password. Let's copy this password and paste it somewhere. And now let's paste it here also and click on save. So now this password is set. Now this password is updated. So I am going to change this password again after this video is complete. Now there is another setting, require password for participants joining by phone. So let's check that also. So by default, this is also on. So you do not need to worry about it. Just make sure that your password is strong. After that, enable waiting room feature so that the call manager will have a better control over participants. So what happens basically when there is a waiting room, other people, it's like a room, other people can knock and enter into a room, into your virtual room. So let's make sure that this waiting room is enabled. For that you come to in meeting advanced, and then in the same page you will see this waiting room enabled. So this waiting room feature is already enabled by default, and when this waiting room is enabled, this means nobody can join your meeting without your permission, because attendees cannot join a meeting until a host admits them individually from the waiting room. So you have to allow individually every student to join into your classroom. It's like that. Then there is the setting which is not available for everyone. Now it is asking you to disable join before host feature. So if you remember this waiting room feature, you know that this is already disabled, because if waiting room is enabled, nobody can join a meeting before host. If you have a TAs in your course or in your classroom, then you can also give extra privilege for others to join the meeting. So let's see that also. So I search for join before host. As you can see, this is disabled by default. Leave it as it is. This means now nobody can join before a host. Means if I am scheduling a meeting, then I will be the first to join the meeting. Others will be in the waiting room. Then there is another permission which is schedule privilege. So if you want others to start meeting on behalf of you, then you can do this. So for that I will again go here and search for schedule privilege, and here what I will do, you can assign a person this schedule privilege. So for example, I can assign this to this particular email address. So he will now have this privilege, but for that you need to have a paid account. So you don't have this option, but it is just an extra feature. It's not anyhow compromising your computer security. CERT also recommended these 5 extra settings. If not required, restrict disable file transfer. From settings and controls, ensure removed participants are unable to rejoin meeting. So there were some participants which you think which you have removed from the meeting, they should not be able to rejoin. For that I have to search here remove participant. See, allow remove participants to rejoin, it's by default disabled. This means your meetings are by default secure. Okay. Again, let's search for file. If there is option for file, the file option is not available here. We will see it somewhere else. If not required, limit screen sharing to the host only. So let's search for this also, screen sharing. So here it's asking who can share the screen. If you think it's not required for others to share their screen, then you can change it to host only. Then the second question is who can start sharing when someone else is sharing. So it depends. If you have selected all participants, only then you need this option. But if you do not need this option, you simply click host only, and then this question has no meaning. Simply save this setting. Then log the meeting session once all your attendees have joined. Once you think all your attendees have joined the meeting, you can log the meeting session. Then there is another option, restrict the call record feature, allow record to trusted participant only. In the recording setting, you will see this local recording feature that allow host and participant to record the meeting to a local file. So like you can create a MP4 file. So what you can disable it. If you disable it, nobody will be able to record the meeting, not even the host, which is not recommended. So what you can do, you can simply enable, you will turn it on, but don't give permission to other participants. Keep this permission to yourself only and save it. So this way, now only you will be able to record it. Once your video is recorded and saved as MP4 file, you can then upload it on YouTube and share that file with your students. So these were all advices given by CERT in Authority of India. So let's now go to Zoom and see the settings here also. So there are some settings. By clicking on this icon, you can see the settings here. So there are some general settings. First of all, make sure that your Zoom is not start when your Windows is start. So if Zoom is started as soon as your Windows is started, it's like the room is open all the time. You don't want that. So make sure it's not true. So these are all the settings that will allow you to host your meetings securely. Now I believe you know how to use Zoom application securely and all the doubts are now clear. So just apply the settings that I mentioned in this video and you will be secure and you will be able to take classes without any worries. Thank you very much.